the future trajectory of the India-Bangladesh ties. Where are they headed at a time when there's commentary coming in from Dhaka which seems to be not in the right spirit. In fact, BNP leader has slammed India for what he calls in terms as dominance politics, essentially saying that New Delhi is trying to dominate over its neighbors. In fact, the Bangladesh foreign advisor to the Yunus government has said that the border killings right now are hindering ties between India and Bangladesh. So in the backdrop of these conflicting signals coming in, we ask the larger question, which is that are there now growing signs of anti-India elements getting emboldened? More importantly, in the backdrop of these very strenuous commentary coming in, what is the trajectory of New Delhi-Dhaka relationship? And last and equally important, clamour growing for Sheikh Hasina's extradition. What does that mean for the larger India-Bangladesh relationship? All right, let's get in. My guests joining me this evening, Ayanjit Sen, Saleem Samad. Saleem, let me start with you, which is that some of the commentary that's coming in from Dhaka is acrimonious, to say the least, but could also have a larger bearing on the relationship between New Delhi and Dhaka.
Thank you for having me. I don't think there will be any problem with the Bangladesh-India relationship or Delhi-Dhaka dialogue, which is to continue. Today, the Indian High Commissioner has met again another advisor on of course economics. So, and they have mentioned that there will be no problem with the bilateral mega
so
projects.
Why not rein in some of these elements?
Number one. Number two is that when you're talking about the border clash, it is true that this has happening for the last 20 years, and the former regime had also placed their protest several times, or maybe 100 times, and every time there is a protest, they're always on the Indian side. The BSF
it's very heartening to know. It's very heartening to know that this is business as usual, because it indicates that things are as close as they can be to normal. It's very heartening to know that. But then let me ask you a question on that, Saleem. I'm going to come to you, Ayanjit, in just a bit. Mr. Samad, the question is that why not rein in, or why can't Yunus government then rein in some of these fringe elements which are making commentary that could have a larger or disproportionate impact?
Bangladesh Nationalist Party have been saying this for the last 25 years. There was nothing objection before, because it is a Yunus government. So the BNP or the Bangladesh Nationalist Party is talking about India-Bangladesh relations. That is not going to hurt, because BNP is nowhere in the party. They were no in the government. They are nowhere on the sideline of this interim government. So it doesn't matter what they say. The most important is what is the interim government is talking to Delhi. That is very important. And of course, the border issue is a very crucial and very most, I would say that it is one of the most, I mean, for example, since January of 2024 and June, and of course this September, about 15 Bangladeshi nationals were shot and killed by BSF, and more than 20 have been injured. Let's not talk about the injury. None of the case in the since January, or even if you're talking about 2009, when Awami League came to power, till the
Sen, hold your thought there. Hold your thought, Saleem Samad. Hold your thought. I'm going to come to you. Ayanjit Sen, respond to that. Is it as business as usual, as Saleem is saying, or India should be wary of commentary coming in at a time when relationship is being tested? It's being tested on several fronts, and this commentary New Delhi needs to be wary of.
Well, I think so, because like a burning cauldron, what happens is primarily what's happening right now. As far as the dictation that is coming in from different groups in Bangladesh about negativity that's being spread about India is something which is definitely needs to be looked into by the Yunus administration, because otherwise it's not about the fringe elements in Bangladesh who are only making it. It's coming from all across. You can see that all across in social media.
Are you saying that anti-India commentary is being normalized? Is that what you're saying, Ayanjit said?
It's Yeah, it's kind of picking up in a big way. I'm not saying normalizing, but it's picking up in a big way, and it's still very much there. Because yesterday evening, there were about more than 100 people near the border, in one of the areas in the border of of India and Bangladesh, where these people were chanting anti-India slogans all through, and they wanted to kind of show up in a way whereby, as if India is their biggest enemy, and it's just that has been lying low. So it's that kind of a picture which has been drawn up by these Bangladeshi elements against India, and it is high time the Yunus administration should look into it and do some action, actually take some action against them.
So
That's
what
high
is
time
it that
if they
Ayanjit
want.
Sen you would want as the top one or two things that the interim government could take? My hope is that this interim government is only interim, it's only there for a couple of months, so its agenda should be very focused and narrow, but in those couple of months, what do you think should be its one or two priorities to ensure that this commentary subsides and doesn't have a larger impact?
First of all, in terms of the time span that you mentioned, couple of months, it might actually go beyond that. Number one,
Yeah, that's my
and
hope, as I said.
there
Yeah.
are yeah, there are good chances that it may actually transcend quite a bit, about quite a bit more than 2 months, in fact. But irrespective of that, whichever, if it's the interim administration or whichever party comes to power in Bangladesh, at the end of the day, the situation that is out right now happening, even in the border area, it's something which needs to be looked in, and blame
Okay.
cannot be given just to BSF,
All
because
right.
BSF
Quick
has
closing
its local.
comments, Saleem Samad, from you as far as the impact this could have. Also, at a time when there's a lot of growing clamor for Sheikh Hasina's extradition, how do you see that also impacting the larger relationship between India and Bangladesh?
If you're talking about extradition, yes, it is very important that Professor Yunus has already mentioned this to Narendra Modi on the telephone, that they have a couple of steps have been taken. That number one, his phone connection, connectivity has been stopped in the safe house where she's living in Delhi.
Okay.
So this is number one. Number two, it's very important that she should be extradited for the murder of the
All right.
640
Let
students.
I think, sir, 5th of August is now so far back in time that we can now let our emotions not take the better of us as far as Bangladesh is concerned. Sheikh Hasina's extradition is concerned. We're going to come back and talk more on that.